All right, so we got all my gear laid out here for my upcoming 70-day through hike of the Appalachian Trail. So let's go through everything. So starting with the pack down here, I have the Superior Wilderness Designs frameless 35-liter pack. Do have these smart water bottle holders from Justin's Ultralight on there. Though I did order a Z-Packs pouch here to hold my phone. I was holding it here in some of my pre-hikes, but it's kind of a pain to get in and out of there, and I do want this pocket for snacks, and I think 2 water bottles up here is a little bit overkill, but I've only taken this out in just a few kind of short hikes around town, so I'm really excited to get this guy out in the trail. And I have a Gossamer Gear, not sure what the name of the material is, but I do like the clear pack liner just so you can see everything. The black contrast clear bags, you can't really see anything. So, all right, let's move into the sleep system. This is a Z-Packs 3/4 zipper 20-degree bag, which for summer on the AT may be overkill for sure, but my thought is, well, they are not cheap, and I want something I can use here in Colorado. And if I do get too warm in it, I can switch it out, and maybe if it's warm enough, just go with a liner that I can pick up somewhere along the trail. But I am going to start with this, and I do anticipate temperatures at least through the Smokies to definitely warrant this temperature bag. All right, coming over here, this is the Neo Air Uberlight. Everyone seems to be having this nowadays, so really excited to have this on the trail. This is a Tarp Tent Pro Trail. Took this on the Colorado Trail last year, and it did a pretty good job. Kept me dry in some of those, summer monsoon storms out in the Rockies. So we'll definitely be relying on this to keep me dry out in the AT. So this is coming with me again. These are, well, except for this one was a Tarp Tent Stake, but these guys are Z-Packs. I forget the name of it, but they weigh very little. So I'll put the weight in the bottom. All right, so that is sleep and shelter. Let's move into clothes. I got the Softy shorts for sleeping. They're extremely light, extremely short. Hammer Nutrition shirt for sleeping. Buff. Just so many different things you can do with a buff. This is a merino wool base layer. If it's cold, I can pop that on, especially if it's wet. It's great when it's wet and keeping you warm. These are Bora Gear rain mitts. I do anticipate doing a lot of hiking in the rain because 70 days I can't afford to take half a day and sit in a shelter and wait out a storm. This is a Frog Togs X-Lite poncho. Not taking a rain jacket. I think a poncho will offer more breathability, especially having to hike in the rain. We'll see. I haven't taken this out yet. A little bit concerned about it, but it's not expensive, and then I can always pick up a rain jacket if I feel like I need one up the trail. Patagonia Houdini. These are pretty popular. They're great in wind, light rain. Doesn't weigh much, so this is coming with me. Chain socks from Stance. Really like the Stance socks. So I'll be rotating out a pair of socks every day. And this is a Z-Pack stuff sack just to hold all the clothes. Okay, then electronics. Headlamp. So there are lighter options to go with a headlamp. People have those really tiny, little flashlight things, but I want the option to be able to hike in the dark if I have to. And this thing, taking on plenty of runs in the dark through the winter, it's plenty of light for the trails. Anchor 10,000 battery charger. Doesn't have the Qualcomm quick charge, but I think being in town every 3 to 5 days, staying at a hostel every 3 to 5 days, I don't think I'm going to need that. So we'll see. Maybe I'll regret that, but that's what I'm taking. USB, headphones, charging my iPhone, which we're taking the video on, that's coming with me, and a Garmin clip charger. So also part of my worn gear, I am going to be using a Garmin 735 XT that can only run for about 12 hours in GPS mode, but it's really important to me to be able to track my miles and upload to Strava, because if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. All right. So let's get to some toiletries here. So as maybe you can tell, I am sponsored by Hammer Nutrition, so I am going to be using their products out there. So this is insurance caps, just a multivitamin for the first resupply, 2 per day. And this is vegan tissue rejuvenator. So really trying to use their products to hopefully give me an edge in recovery. Doing 31.3 miles a day, recovery is going to be super important. Toothpaste, toothbrush, teeny tiny little mustache comb, that's what it's marketed as, but does the job to comb out a longer beard. So weighs nothing, will be coming with me. Floss, and this Hammer sent me, I think it's just a muscle cream, so maybe if your calf is tight, you can just rub it on there. So I haven't used it, but weighs 0.3 ounces, so I'm gonna toss it in my bag. Wallet, ID, debit card. I'm gonna start with $40 in cash in there. Obviously not in there right now. This is Sawyer half ounce Katahdin. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but we'll be using these to hopefully keep the bugs away. Hand sanitizer, small thing of sunscreen. Deuces Spades trowel. This is the second lightest size. Just think that really small one is too difficult to dig with, so I am going with the one bigger. Toilet paper, budgeting 4 squares per day. This is a first aid kit. Got squirrel's nut butter in there for chafing, Gorilla Glue, lots of uses for that. You can use that for cuts, repairs, teeny Swiss Army knife, lots of functions there. Some Band-Aids, Leukotape. This whole setup weighs maybe 2.5 ounces. I'll put the weight in the bottom. All right, so coming over to water. Sawyer Micro Squeeze with 2 1-liter bags. And, oh, I forgot to talk about my Crocs before, and they did get a little bit burnt in the bottom. But I know Crocs are heavy. My rationale for bringing them, and I've kind of gone back and forth on this a lot, is 3 things, in my opinion, would be really important to finishing this hike. That's food, fitness, and feet. And at the end of a long day, especially if it's wet, it's just so nice to have something else to put on your feet. So that's why I'm starting with the Crocs. If I feel like I don't need them, maybe I'll send them home. But I've done about 300 miles of the AT already, and I've taken Crocs with me every time, and just so nice to have that something with support and protection for camp. And okay, so coming to food, another kind of controversial one. I am going to take in Ursack. Hanging, I am skeptical of hanging. It's hard to do. Takes a lot of time. It's a pain. This guy will keep the mini bears out, as Andy Skirk calls them, and hopefully the larger ones as well. And you can just tie it around a tree. A little bit of a weight penalty here, but I think it's worth it. Waterproof OPSAC with, this is my first resupply from Springer. We'll start, I am going to be doing the approach trail to the NOC. And then I'm just going to do a little resupply there to get me to Fontana, where my first mail drop is. I'm going to be cold soaking. And I did, and you can see my other video on dehydrating food. So this is an example of one dinner. We'll be adding olive oil to all my meals. So I have about 8 ounces every few hundred miles or so sent up the trail. Long handle Sea to Summit spoon to get that last bit of peanut butter out of the jar, which is very important. Hammer vegan protein bar. And Fizz, which is an electrolyte mix. So these will hopefully keep me going on those hot and humid days. And then this I'm actually not having in my first resupply bag, but I did want to talk about it. This is Recoverite. And this one you can see is going to Rutland, Vermont. But every mail drop, resupply box, I'm going to have some Recoverite. Just another thing to give me an edge in recovery. And I think I forgot to talk about this guy here. This is CBD, 25 milligrams. Not cheap, but another thing that can really give me an edge in recovery. And I might take that really just whenever I feel like I need that extra little bit. Some worn gear over here. So this shirt and this hat I will be starting with on the trail. More Stance socks, Gaiters, Superior 3.5s, Gooder sunglasses, and Black Diamond trekking poles. And last thing, shorts. I will not be wearing these shorts. Kind of gone back and forth on different pairs of shorts. And I do have some coming in the mail this week, so hopefully, yeah, I'll have that straightened out, because kind of the last thing I need to get together before I leave. Alright, so some gear in that video we made the other day. One I forgot to mention is my puffy. I have the Patagonia hoodless micro puff. Was kind of going back and forth on this one, and ultimately decided through the Smokies you can get those cold days, and it is worth it to have the puffy. Now when I get to Damascus, we'll probably send it home, and you know, if it looks like I might need it, maybe I'll send it home after that, but I am not planning on taking this with me the whole way. Maybe I'll pick it up again when I get up into New England. Also in the video, I talked about how I have not decided on shorts, but now I think that I have. These are the Nike Flex Stride 7-inch shorts, and I wore these for the Quad Rock 50-mile run yesterday, and these are really comfortable. Got lots of compliments on the color scheme, but excited to have these, and they do have hand pockets as opposed to basket pockets a lot of running shorts have, which get obstructed by a hip belt. So really excited to have these. These are really comfortable yesterday. Also, I have changed my socks from Stance to Zenza, and I really like these socks. They have sweet designs on them. These ones have topos on them, and these ones I just got in the mail today have avocados on them. How awesome is that? But it's not all about the looks. These are super comfortable, super supportive, great cushioning, left-right specific, and I'll just be rotating these out. So sleep in these, let these ones dry, vice versa. And last thing I didn't talk about in the video was this, and this is a ankle sleeve, also made by Zenza, and I've had a lot of problems, really, well, going kind of way back to when I was a kid with my left ankle, but recently doing more hiking and ultra running, I've had some bad rolls on it, and this just gives it that extra little bit of support. It's super light. You completely forget that it's there. It doesn't cause any problems. I ran 50 miles with this thing on yesterday and barely noticed it. So this thing is worth its weight in gold and then some. So that's it for all my gear. Leaving for the trail. Today is Sunday the 12th. And leaving to start the approach trail on the 23rd. So really excited to get on the trail. So close now. And I will do a video after the hike, kind of reviewing the gear, see what worked, see what didn't work, see what, if any, changes I made to my setup. So yeah, it's just really exciting now. So check back in, one more video to go before I leave here.